Hi, I'm Maggie, one of the trainers at the Miami Association of Realtors, and I'm here to create a little tutorial or to review how you can use three different mobile applications for commercial searches and commercial purposes. So after a recent GoMLS webinar, we had a member who requested a tutorial that would focus on using GoMLS for commercial purposes, and I thought it would be a good idea to also throw in two other applications being HomeSnap and Remind. And although of the three, GoMLS has the largest set of search filters and criteria for you for commercial searches, there are tools built into HomeSnap and Remind that you might find interesting. And also keep in mind that with mobile applications, sometimes you get access to a little more if you were to use the web-based version on a computer or a tablet. But GoMLS, we have offered feedback to CoreLogic, and those suggestions have been implemented or will be implemented. So just for example, to point out a few things, if I tap on the logo in the top left corner, obviously, I have the option of sharing my app. There is a consumer version to this application, which allows you to then share properties with your customers through the app, and then you would be able to interact with them through the chat. So we have our search feature, which we would start by tapping on search properties. You have your contacts. Your contacts are going to be coming from the contacts or clients that you have saved on Matrix, and also you can search the agent directory so that you can see agent information. You also have your listings readily available for you there. So if you wanted to go ahead and open it up and then share it, you could. You have your favorites, and what's saved here as favorites are properties or listings that you have saved as a favorite in the application. So every property or listing shows up with a heart, and by tapping on the heart, you're saving it as a favorite. To remove it as a favorite, you're just going to tap on that same heart and it'll get rid of it from the list. You have your chat, which again is meant for you to interact with your customers. You have your saved searches. And what's really nice is that under saved searches, I have any search I saved in the application, but I also have the searches that I saved on Matrix. So I can go ahead and tap on those and bring those results up. We have a calculator. There is a payment or an estimated payment calculator for monthly mortgage. And then there's also an affordability calculator, which we have seen mortgage calculators in various products, various applications, but the affordability calculator is actually something I've only ever seen in the GoMLS app. You also have the ability to switch accounts. So if for whatever reason you had to jump in and check something on another account, you could. Or if you created an account as a consumer and you just kind of want to see what the consumer sees, you can switch. And then under settings, one of the really recent updates is that now when you tap on settings and then tap on view and edit your profile, you can actually edit your picture from the application directly. And before you could only edit your picture by logging into Matrix and uploading your picture onto your agent roster info. So that is new. That rolled out in the last few days. Also, if I go back, just to always kind of make sure, if I go to About, I'll see what version it is. So right now we're running version 3.1.27. You may be watching this video days or months later. We might be at another version at that point, but always try to go back into your app store and just kind of make sure that you pull up the application. And if it says update, then it's time for an update. Most cell phones will update the application automatically, usually overnight when you plug it into charge. But some of you may have opted to only manually update your applications, and so they'll only update once you go ahead and make sure to tap on that little update button. So keep an eye out for that. So in terms of the searches, if I were to go to search properties, and then from here, we always recommend that you start with the filters. So before you type in an address in the top, or if it's a specific MLS number for a specific listing, by all means, go ahead and use that search bar at the top. But if you're running a search, and let's say I wanted to find, commercial land, or I wanted to find some warehouses or what have you, the first thing you should do before you specify anything is tap on filters. Now under filters where it says property type, you have your typical, residential searches, but if you kind of scroll over, you have your residential income. And I know residential income kind of falls in this in between residential and commercial. And those are your duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes that are for sale. Under location, you can specify, a city, or you can specify a zip code. So if I wanted to look in 33127, I could go ahead and plug that in. If I wanted to look in various zip codes, I could actually tap on add location, let's say 33129. And I can go ahead and add in multiple zip codes and multiple locations that way as well. So again, I would just tap on that. Make sure you tap on the suggestion that they bring up, and then you'll see the locations. When you're done, at the bottom right of the screen, it'll say done. So if you don't tap on done, it doesn't save what you've entered as a filter. And I feel like there are a lot of errors that come from that because we tap it in and we think that we're adding it to the search, but we're not. So just make sure you always look for that word or phrase at the bottom right that says done, and you tap on that. You have your list price. With residential income, for sure, yes, I would use list price, but for other commercial searches, I stay away from list price, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. You have your status, total number of units. So, maybe I want a max of 5. We know that residential income is duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, but we also know that listings are added incorrectly often into residential income when they really belong in commercial. So when you're searching for those, you kind of have to search both. Type of property, I specified 5 units, so I'm not going to specify duplex, triplex, or fourplex, but here they are in alphabetical order: duplex, fourplex, and then if I scroll down to the T's, I have my triplex. Okay, now I also have year built, style, waterfront property, terms considered, short sale, and REO, square footage, special information. Okay, and then we have closing, pending date, and expiration date. That expiration date got added in recently as well. So if you decide to search for expired listings, you can set a date range as well. So I've gone ahead and entered this criteria, and I have 35 results. I tap on view 35 results, and I'm going to see them on the map. But if I pull up what's at the bottom of the screen where it says 35 results, I would then see the individual listings. And again, those hearts allow you to save it as a favorite. If I tap on a listing, it's going to go ahead and pull it up for me, and I can now see driving directions. I can share it, contact the listing agent, schedule a showing. I have access to the calculator, and I can send it through a chat. If I wanted to go back to my results, I just close that out and I'm right back to my results. Now, if I wanted to save this search, in the top where you have your filters, it says lowest price because that's how I'm choosing to sort my results, but you can go ahead and sort it by what's newest, highest price, lowest price, active first, or inactive. And then if I wanted to save this search, I could go ahead and tap on save search, and I'm going to put here, residential income, and maybe the zip codes that I had searched, right? I go ahead and I save it. Where does it save? I tap on that logo in the top left corner. I tap on save searches, and there's my save search. You tap on it again and it'll pull up the results. So it's saving the criteria, which means today I might have 35 results. Tomorrow I might have a few more or a few less, but you're going and you're saving that criteria. So it's really convenient to just have it there for you. Now, if I wanted to run another brand new search, I could go ahead. Okay, and I'm going to tap on filters. And let's say I wanted to run a search for commercial land. I'm going to reset before I do anything. So in the top right, it says reset. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that so that the application doesn't receive conflicting information. It's like starting with a blank slate. So I'd make sure to tap on commercial land, tap on location. And if I wanted to search countywide, I can actually just type in Dade, pull up Miami-Dade County. If I wanted to search unincorporated Dade as well, I would have to go back and add it back in, tap on done. Now, for list price, I tend to stay away from list price with commercial land and with commercial searches because some listings are listed at price per square foot, or maybe, with land price per acre instead of the total price, and vice versa. So in order to see as many results as possible, whether I'm searching on Matrix on a computer or searching on the application, I tend to leave list price blank just to make sure that I've captured everything possible. The status is there, active. If at any point in time you wanted to add in additional statuses, you absolutely could. You have your total acreage. So let's say I were looking for, maximum 3 acres. You have your lot description. You have type of property. That comes in a little handy with commercial, not with commercial land. Terms considered, comprehensive land use, land improvements, short sale, REO, closing date, pending date, and again, the expiration I mentioned, an open house. So I'm going to go ahead and tap those results, and I can just go ahead and zoom in. And another way you can pull up results is, and this is why I didn't put a list price. I have one that says 48, and if I tap on it, we know that that's not $48, right? And then I've got another one for 600. It's not, right? But then I have one at 475,000. So I stay away from this price. Another way that you can see those details, as I was mentioning, is just by tapping on those little flags and markers that are on the map, and then just pull up, and again, you have your directions, you have all your actions, you have your description, which are the remarks, and you can go ahead and review the rest of the info for that listing. Okay, so again, if I'm going to search something else, the first thing I need to do when I tap back into that search option or those filter options is reset. I need to get rid of everything. Let's say I wanted to do a commercial search. When I tap on commercial industrial, again, location, maybe I'm searching in Doral, right? And I tap on done. I have my list price, my status, I have my type of property. Okay, and I don't have everything that I might see when I'm working with Matrix on a computer, but I do have a couple of options. So I have special purpose, I have restaurant, retail. So maybe I'm looking for retail in Doral. And then you have your style of property, commercial, retail. Maybe you want to specify even more. Transaction type. So this is something that just got added. Again, it's one of those recent updates. Before, the filter wasn't there. And so now you have the option of specifying a lease or sale when you're searching your commercial listings. So I can go ahead and say I'm looking for, maybe a lease for a retail space. You have your property, type of building. Okay, and this is where you would see that list you're used to seeing on Matrix. Right? And I can go ahead and specify retail space. Now, you have to be careful because if you notice, if you start adding too many things, you get no results. And I have always found with these searches that less is more. Okay, so transaction type, again, recently added. They might still be working a few bugs out, but I would go ahead and I can specify a little bit further. Here I have a mix of things, but it's just a way to kind of show you how you can start to mix and match filters on GoMLS. If I tap on the three little dots, so it says I have hundreds of results, but there are three little dots on the right hand side. If I tap, I can see the list, which is what we currently have. But if I tap on gallery, it just kind of makes that photo a little bit larger, so that it's easier to see that primary picture. And then of course, you can always tap and see additional information for the listing. Now, if I go back to my filters, you also have business opportunities. So I'm just going to reset everything. Business opportunity, usually when you're searching on the computer, you have to manually type what kind of businesses or type of businesses you're looking for. But here they've given you a list. So everything in the application has to be drawn from a list. If I go to style of business, I have my general styles here. Just always remember to tap on done in the bottom right corner. So if I were looking for restaurant opportunities, I tap on restaurant, I tap on done, and I'm looking for restaurant opportunities in, let's say Doral again. Okay, I tap on done, view 20 results. There are 20 restaurant opportunities that are listed for restaurants in Doral, okay, that are for sale. Now, the next application that I wanted to show you is GoMLS. GoMLS is an application that comes with your services, so it's included, no additional cost. All you have to do is activate it. It doesn't have as many filters and as much of a breakdown as GoMLS does, but it does have some interesting features and characteristics built into it that you might find to be really convenient. So one of the things that I hear most often is, okay, I find commercial listings on the MLS, but not everything that I see out there is necessarily on the MLS. This application has a feature that can be used with any property, be it residential, commercial, industrial, etc. There is a little camera in the top right corner. if I tap on that camera and take a picture of the property, it will pull up information for the property. If it's on the MLS, it'll give me that MLS info. If it is not on the MLS, it will give me the tax record information for that property. Okay, so again, that little camera, top right corner, allows you to snap a picture of any property, and it's going to use your GPS and what direction you're facing to pull up information on that property. Now, if I wanted to search for properties here, I would tap on for sale or for rent. So you do have the breakdown right beneath that search bar that says Western Miami for me. And I would go ahead and specify. So maybe I'm looking in Medley. There it is. And it's going to go ahead and it's going to map Medley out for me. Now, if I then go right beneath that, it says for sale, for rent, all homes, sort, filter. If I tap on filter, I can then say what status I want, price range. Where it says property type, you have land, you have multifamily, you have commercial. So I can go ahead and select commercial. And they don't have anything to specify subtype. So for listing type, it's not going to break down the subtype, meaning if I'm looking for warehouses, there is nothing here on this list of filters that allows me to specify a retail space or a warehouse. But it is pulling from the MLS, so you would be able to see that information as well. And then I would see those results on the map, but I would also see them beneath the map, and I would be able to tap on them and see additional information. HomeSnap is, like I said, synced to our MLS, so you can go ahead and kind of scroll down and see what's going on, see who the listing agent is, talk to that listing agent. You can also set up a little notification for yourself. So if there's a price change, you receive a notification from HomeSnap that there was a change. You can also schedule showing through showing time. So both GoMLS and HomeSnap allow you to request showings through showing time. Another really interesting thing that HomeSnap has, and that is GPS based and it is GPS focused, is it allows you to set up a safety timer. So once you get to a property, you can set up a timer, set up your emergency contacts. And if something were to happen, those contacts receive a text message that you might be in danger. And it also has, and this is based on GPS, so you have to be at the property. You can walk the property lines. And so what that'll do is I'm going to go ahead and pick a commercial property close to where I currently am. So when you are close to the property, there's the safety timer I mentioned. So right beneath agent actions, it says start a safety timer. You can set up as many emergency contacts as you'd like. And then as I scroll down, I see all of the history. I see that I can set up a notification of price changes. And then as I scroll at the bottom, almost at the very end, it says walk the property lines. If I tap walk the property lines and I say I'm there, it's going to use my camera. And right now it's a giant green dot, but it's going to use that green dot to draw a line. So as I'm looking at the ground through my phone, I can see that a line is being placed in front of me so that virtually I can see where the property lines are, which comes in handy with commercial properties because sometimes there's no defining feature. There's no fence, gate, etc. to let me know where the property ends. So you can use something like walk the property lines. Okay. It doesn't have as many filters as my commercial searches on the GoMLS app, but it does have some interesting tools that you might find useful in the future. The last application I wanted to show you is Remind. And Remind does not have a commercial search on the application. They do on the web-based version. So if you access it on a computer, they do have commercial filters. But what they do have on the application when you tap on search at the bottom and then tap on sort and filter at the top right is they do have the option here for you under building type for multifamily. So you have your residential income here, but you don't have commercial searches. The reason I bring this up is because part of what Remind has to offer you is contact information. So let's say I tap on another commercial listing on HomeSnap or GoMLS, and I want that contact information. So for example, this dry cleaner, 3000 Coral Way. So I'm going to go ahead back into Remind, and I'm going to tap on the search and type in 3000 Coral Way. Okay, there it is. It comes up. It's all highlighted. It tells me, here we go. So I can go ahead and pull up 3000 Coral Way, which is a string of retail spaces. And I can go through the public information or the public record here I have access to the public record in GoMLS. I have access to it elsewhere. But what I also get here is associated people. So if I scroll down, these are all the associated people with these retail spaces. Maybe they're tenants, maybe it's owners, but if any contact information is available, I can go ahead and tap on a name, and there it is, and it says call. So I can tap on call and call the person. So you don't get contact information in GoMLS. You get some contact information in HomeSnap, but you definitely get more contact information in Remind more than the other products and services. And if you were to access Remind on the computer, you also get email addresses. They will let you know if it's on the do not call list, which is convenient. So again, you don't have as many commercial filters. Of the three applications I just showed you, GoMLS has the most access to filters to make your search more specific. HomeSnap has the ability to search, but it doesn't have as many filters. And yet it has that camera that lets you snap a picture and pull up information on any property. And then Remind has the ability to allow you to pull up contact information on your phone. So you might find yourself using one application more than others, but at some point you might find that there's a tool in one of these other applications that might be useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. This was kind of like an overview of applications that normally are viewed through the lens of a residential agent or for residential searches. This was how you can kind of spin it and use it for commercial purposes. So I would be more than happy to help if you have any additional questions. And thank you so much for being a Miami member.